fans looking at upcoming games. Coming up on field 4 out of Group B, we'll have the DMV Diplomats taking on Blade and Grass FC.
Me on this side, or do you have a preference? Or
I'll help get the ball.
Yeah, we'll all help. I left one behind the
So and again, I have to be on the inside, but do you have a preference?
Fans, be sure to check out the soccer.com merchandise tent located near the event entrance. There you can purchase all your official TST and team apparel on site.
Thank you again. I'm Paul. Unless it was me and I was the best player.
At the half, the score, Hoosier Army 2, Dortmund 0. Fans, once again, a friendly reminder, TST will be using target score time at the conclusion of today's match. At the end of the second half, a target score will be set by adding 1 to the leading team's goal count. The first team to reach that target score will be our winner. The Greater Raleigh Sports Alliance welcomes all the teams and fans in attendance for this historic event. Check out visitraleigh.com for all the info you'll need to enjoy your time in Cary. Renegade GK is thrilled to be a part of TST because, like us, this tournament is exciting and different. Come check us out and take advantage of the special 20% TST discount off all Renegade GK gloves. Be sure to check out soccer.com. The soccer.com merchandise tent is located near the event entrance, and purchase all your official TST and team apparel on site. That's the soccer.com merchandise tent near the main entrance. North Carolina FC Youth is proud to have current and former coaches, players, and staff participating in TST. Visit ncfcuyouth.com to learn more about soccer programs for kids of all ages and abilities.
Good morning and welcome to Cary, North Carolina, a soccer hotbed and apropos for the inaugural soccer tournament, the TST, a World Cup style 7-on-7 global event. And happy to be with you from the heartland of North Carolina. Neil Sika here to have some fun. Our opening matchup is in Group B. Blade and Grass FC against the DMV Diplomats. Outside of the Beltway, the soccer-rich area of Maryland, Blade and Grass, formed by Golden State Warriors owner Nick Swinmurn, along with former pros. And that is our matchup here for you to start. Each team will play 2 group stage matchups today, followed by a third tomorrow. If you follow the World Cup, you know the knockout rounds to the final 16, which will begin tomorrow evening. Here's a look at your 8 groups. It is really an interesting composition of rosters, to say the least. From anyone who's hit the pinnacle of the sport to a hopeful prodigy wanting to make a name for themselves. And we'll tell you those stories as the games progress throughout the day. But today, to start the inaugural TST, this matchup between Blade and Grass, mentioned their ownership group, Golden State Warriors owner Nick Swinmurn, pairing up with Irish professional star Stephen Ireland. And what a career he has had, much ballyhooed at Manchester City, Aston Villa. But the most exciting thing for him is that he gets to play with his son, who's in the Stoke City Academy. He'll be out there today with former MLS pros Breck Shea, Jeff Cameron, who was also a captain at Stoke City, a roster with a lot of professional pedigree. They'll be facing the Diplomats of DMV. I mentioned this soccer-rich area, which initially wanted to form a Maryland alumni base. Indiana and Duke have alumni teams in this inaugural TST, but DMV went beyond that call. Not only former Maryland players, but also some with the connections of former MLS pro Amobi Akugo, who played collegiately at UCLA and has found some talent out in the Sacramento Bay area. But there's also a Chilean contingent on this DMV team. Jose Fuenzalida, 55 caps for Chile, including a World Cup appearance in 2014. His countryman Mark Gonzalez also on this roster, along with Claudio Munoz. So there are guys who have been through the grinder in both South America and the highest leagues in the world. And it's going to be very fun to watch this opening matchup between the two. Since this is the debut event of the TST, there's also new rules. 7v7, we play 20-minute halves. There's no offside or throw-ins. Everything starts with an indirect free kick to resume play if it goes out of bounds. And then we'll discuss this later once we get to halftime in the second half. Every game ends in target score time. If you're familiar with the Elam ending and the basketball tournament, the TBT, you have to score a goal to win the game, and the clock will not melt away. And we'll get into that more once we hit the second half. But ready, with competition already brewing, and you'll see scores at the top of your screen throughout our morning feature. But so glad to be with you here in Cary, which has hosted 8 men's NCAA national championships. There are multiple fields. You can see Breck Shea and Mark Gonzalez shaking hands there at the half. Waiting on the whistle for the opening match here in Group B. 7-on-7, and on Sunday, 2 teams will play for 7 figures. The $1 million prize to the winner. Kieran Westwood, the 38-year-old, in goal for Blade and Grass. Long career throughout England. And there's Robert Moes of the Borussia Dortmund Academy. Ironically enough, Dortmund is in this tournament. Away we go in Group B. Blade and Grass is in white. The DMV Diplomats in the black and red. This is Niasi taking the opening shot. The length of the field, 65 by 45. So think of a normal soccer pitch, and it's touchline to touchline, but front to back. This is Hopper for Blade and Grass. Malik Fati cut his teeth with Hertha Berlin. Long lob where Mois will play it on out toward midfield. It's interesting with the goalkeepers because after receiving the ball they can't punt it or drop kick it, and any throw out has to bounce once inside of their own half. You see a lot of long range efforts. Westwood made the PFA Team of the Year back when he was with Sunderland. Had a spell at Sheffield United. There's Gonzalez.
And some scores updates.
Miroslav Stok.
On field 3, the
33-year-olds. 4 seasons at Chelsea. Spent a lot of that time on loan. Ireland took that a little too premature. Right in front of DMV Diplomats head coach Jorge Alvial. On the left side of your screen. Longtime scout for Chelsea. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Newtown Pride FC taking on Kingdom FC.
Longtime
Kickoff
U.S. international.
9:45 a.m.
Houston Dynamo star. FC Cincinnati to round out his career. He's really good friends with Breck Shea. They went over to Stoke around the same time. Shea didn't stay very long. Just a couple of shots so far. We count upward in the 20-minute clock. Here is Shea. And that opportunity by Diassi flails wide. Bain Diassi, quite the career. He was very prolific in his native Senegal before moving to Everton. Here's Cameron up in the play. That's last off. Number of Blade and Grass. So many of these professionals, they're used to the small-sided 77 games, but at the sprightly old age of their late 30s to early 40s for some of them, wonder on the conditioning. And this is almost a break to play early in the morning your first group stage game, because it will climb into the mid-80s by the afternoon, that Carolina heat. See the scores simultaneously above. Hoosier Army, the former Indiana alums, an impressive beginning against Borussia Dortmund. Vieta and Wolves. Vieta, a team mainly of major arena soccer league stars, indoor players. But that is the interesting thing about the TST. You could have cohesion with some of these rosters that have been playing together in smaller cash leagues, indoor, continuity. Fascinating to see how they match up against some of the game's all-time greats. Stoke ripping that back into play, looking for someone to break the ice. Good combination here, and it's pumped over.
Are tied at 1 apiece.
Amardo Oakley had a little bit of time in Germany, last playing with Guelph United, the Development League in Canada. The game's best chance so far through 5 minutes. Just a piece of it from Westwood to set up this corner. The second in succession for Stoke. Gonzalez. Ireland blocking that shot attempt. Here's Hopper. A lot of times in the lower divisions of England, trying to fleece and set Breck Shea away. Shea's played all over the field in his career. A yellow card is issued on that challenge. There is no slide tackling in the TST. Shea starting as a winger, was illustrious when he began with FC Dallas. Got him to Stoke. Ireland with the quick reset. And Niassi's going to try and dig free. Shea coming on. Robert Moas, who arrived at 10 p.m. last night on his flight, so needless to say, it was up and at him. The DMV keeper to begin. Good layoff, Niassi. Ireland for Shea, and Shea can't settle it. Shea and Cameron still train 3 times a week together in the Houston area. Oakley. On the switch to Stoke. Looking for the corner pocket. That'll go out for a goal kick. Opening up a bit more through 7 minutes. Group B with Blade and Grass. DMV, they are joined with Wolves and Viita, who has taken the lead. Just because you have the name brand recognition doesn't mean you're going to be successful. Good lead ahead for Ireland. Tried to tuck it past Moas. The last ditch stop. So this is tooth and nail to begin. Keepers coming up with some clutch saves. Hopper trying for the interior for Shea. Here's Ireland, curling it just wide. And a clean look for the former Irish international who was their Young Player of the Year. A fantastic career that wrapped up with Stoke City in 2018. Gonzalez. Ireland snaps that away. Niassi is held up. Lots of talk in the early stages for the Diplomats and their brass. Sasha Sarowski, longtime successful coach at the University of Maryland. Off the turnover, Niassi, a clean look, but a great defensive play by Munoz. 7 clubs in a 2-spell span in his native Chile. Huachipato, the main club there. There's Cameron snapping that off the corner. And what a stop by Moas. Even Grass going into it with the attack. They've had a couple of good chances here in the last 2 minutes. Clock will stop only at the referee's discretion, and that's because of injury. Jeff Cameron, collegiately played at Rhode Island.
Fans on field
New England man through and through, but
the
gone to
match
home
between the DMV Diplomats
heartland
and
of Texas, his pro career. Launching that upfield for Niassi. Dropped it for Hopper. Last played in the Northern League, the 7th and 8th divisions of English football. Shea, Ireland, Moas, who's been the busier keeper. Truly on a lack of rest. He shined collegiately at Binghamton before playing his final season at Duke. Was drafted by Toronto FC in 2017, the DMV keeper. We're halfway through the first half.
This is a 32-team event with
inaugural TST.
knockout tournament. Each of today's teams finds
Once
itself
again, there's
just
no
7 wins
offside.
away
That's a
from
screamer from
$1
Stoke.
million.
It sails high. Fenerbahce, Slavia Prague. His native Czech Republic. Only got 4 games for Chelsea in the 3 seasons he was there, mentioning the loan spells earlier. Resetting those rules, there's no offside. You have the target score ending, which is essentially the leading team needing to score 1 more goal after the 40 minutes has concluded, or you play to that target goal score. It's lobbed over the top, trying to get Cameron forward. Cameron played 170 MLS games. 2-time All-Star, best 11 in 2009. On the lead for Oakley. Unlimited substitutions, but both teams content so far through the opening 13 minutes to roll with what they've got. Smoked in at Westwood from the corner flag. Iasi. It's a good layoff for Ireland. Carves it back to the Senegalese forward. In turn, playing that into the middle and out of the thick of it. Last bit of defending from DMV, and those stalwarts in the back, the Chilean stalwarts, had to put out a few fires. Here's Niasi trying to use his strength and grapple to the top with play continuing. On the one time, Hopper just missed the opportunity, the 29-year-olds. Accrington, Stanley, Mosley. Clubs he's had the most experience with.
Former coaches, players, and staff participating in TST. Visit ncfcyouth.com to learn more about soccer programs for kids of all ages and abilities.
Dalton Pando, one of the first subs for the Diplomats, and they'll tuck it inside, and the opening goal belongs to the DMV. Great run by Oakley. The team outside the Beltway breaks the ice here in Group B on 14 minutes. Mardo Oakley, who played at small Lewisburg College. He's from Lorton, Virginia. But he's had 2 of the best looks, and then immediately off the kickoff, Blade and Grass responds. Niasi, touch of beauty on that half volley to even things at 1. So we waited nearly 15 minutes for a goal. We've got 2 in 30 seconds.
The score in that match, DMV Diplomats 1.
Gonzalez. And for Malcolm
In
Harris.
fact, fans, we just had on field 4 A Blade and Grass FC goal.
There's the brawny Zat Knight. 16-year professional. Harris played collegiately at UMBC, started at Denver. Now Stoke. And the save from Westwood on the shot by Mark Gonzalez. Both goals have really energized the action. Crescendoing toward the end of the first half. Stoke hits a seed, and it's just wide. Each team blow by blow, exchanging opportunities back and forth. Stephen Ireland, credit for that assist on the Niasi goal, who pumps one there. Boas, he's been a busy man, chops it down. Shea settling. Stephen Ireland has that deflected away by Fuenzalida. There's been a rock back there in the middle. The DMV Diplomats, they're in the black and red. Blade and Grass in white. This is the opening game in Group B, the inaugural TST. Down to 3 minutes remaining here in this first half. On the giveaway. Some composure there. Fuenzalida up in the action, but he could not hold off the second challenge. Was quite possibly in a position to draw a penalty. Miroslav Stoke. That healed ball, but Shea and Cameron wise to it. Ireland, just moments before kickoff, was mentioning just how impressed he was with the setup of this.
Goal in the 22nd minute scored by Zach Reget.
Players from all corners of the globe.
That match in the second half, Vieta FC 3.
And even if you had a professional pedigree, there are rosters with guys who have plenty of experience, but there were also individual video auditions that you could submit to be selected to a roster. 32-team World Cup format. Of course, it won't be 32 teams come 2026, but we like to keep it old school in that sense. Stoke. And up the wing, Hopper. Gonna hop a Diplomat right into the bench area.
Fans on field 5. We have
Moments apart, those goals. Niasi responding after Mardo Oakley scoring for DMV.
Newtown High FC 0, Kingdom FC 1.
Target score time. The target score
Fuenzalida.
is 5. The first team to 5 will win.
His cross goes unanswered.
Each team every 5 minutes.
This is Alex Lee. His twin brother had good college soccer careers. Alex at Maryland. On the chip. It was there. Fuenzalida. He's been doing it at both ends of the field. Westwood came out, but it hopped over and wide. They're going to say it was deflected. Final 30 seconds of the opening stanza. Goals right at the 14-minute mark. The ensuing kickoff. You cannot score directly off the kickoff. Ireland had that sublime pass. Volley for Niasi. Last action in the opening 20. Cameron away. Chances aplenty, but goals a few. To start things off here in Group B, but a very compelling game between Blade and Grass and the DMV Diplomats here in Cary, North Carolina. It's halftime here in the first game of Group B. 1-1 the score at the inaugural TST.
8 minutes. 8 minutes. Everything okay? Everything going okay? Oh, DMV. Just have to write it down. I've relayed the message. Unfortunately,
Let's get these two situated in front, these two facing.
Checking in on field 3, a goal for Vieta FC, scored by Cesar Cerda in the 28th minute. In that match, it is Vieta FC 4, Wolverhampton Wanderers FC 1.
Sorry, I had my headset off for a second. Looks like we're about to start.
so when you do the clock for the second half, you're going to go 20 minutes and then so it counts up. Everything good? Everything good?
It's about to start.
2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. When it gets to 8 minutes, that's when technically we'll get it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as soon as that goes, just quickly go 20 and then we'll go.
Each side sends a player to the bench. We are down to 6-on-6.
Welcome back. It's halftime. Blade and Grass FC, the DMV Diplomats, 1-1 after 20 minutes. The soccer tournament in its very first edition. Group B play, you can see by the score, the game very even. 7 shots apiece. Diplomats with a couple on goal and both belonging to Amardo Oakley. Great save by Kieran Westwood, preventing his first chance. But then he scored the opening goal here in the group right before the 14th minute, answered immediately after on the kickoff by Bay Niasi. We'll play 20 more minutes in this second half. And depending on where the score sits, we have the target score. And these are the rules regarding the target score time. No injury time. You add 1 to the leading team's score. If it's tied, it would be in the case 2 if we look at 1-1 as an example. And the official will keep time on the field. A player is then removed every 5 minutes until we get a goal.
Assisted by number 9, DJ.
Must end on a goal. Can't melt the clock away. Clock will count up towards 40 on this truncated pitch. The second half underway. Shea for Hopper. DMV, they made a couple of substitutions at the tail end of that first half. The Chileans doing the heavy lifting along the back. They elected to go with a 3-2-1. 2-2-2 for Blade and Grass. The 6 field players and the keeper. There's Cameron.
As a reminder, fans,
Wanted to play in that night.
score time at the conclusion of each game. At the end of the second half, a target score will be
England
set by
International.
adding 1 to the leading team's goal count. First,
Appeared at the tail end of that first half.
Ryan Whitbread. And that is our
Stephen
game.
Ireland
The victors in the opening match of the soccer tournament. Hoosier
making
Army
sure
defeats
he's not
Borussia
able to
Dortmund.
whip that cross in. Mark Gonzalez holding up well for the ripe old age of 38. Of course, I know
checking in on field 3.
it's not really that old at all, but
We have a
in
Vieta
soccer terms it
goal
is. There's Shea sticking it home
by Mitchell
on the near
Cardenas.
stick for the second goal in Blade and Grass. Its first lead, 90 seconds into the second half. Much like the first Diplomats goal, weak side unaccounted for, and Shea slips in. Scored his first of the tournament.
5:30 this afternoon on field 4 as they take on Kingdom FC. Dortmund is in action.
Rerouted by Dalton Pando. Time in the Nashville Academy, playing with their U23s. Here's Ireland from his son. That's lobbed to the top of the bar. The dimensions of the goal. Not full size. In line with the dimensions of the field. Malcolm Harris. Diplomats looking for a response. Sail out in front of Jorge Alveol. Gray track jacket. Kostas Kotsifakis, academy coach with Hertha Berlin, the man leading Blade and Grass, who have a 3-on-1 and not able to take advantage. Ireland has it denied on the doorstep. Gonzalez, what a save by Westwood, but the follow there from Stoke. And we're even again at 2. So a nice response 2 minutes later by the Diplomats to level things here. Opening game of Group B. Wolves, Vita. The other two that got going right before this affair. Vita, last check, had a lead. Shea stubbed it a bit on the pass from Cameron. Brecken Shea, they call him Mercurial. A very productive career. His phenom season at FC Dallas earned him best 11 honors in MLS. It was in 2011. You can see Vita 5'2", so two of the well-known brands in Wolves and Borussia Dortmund, with the Hoosier Army taking that opening matchup 5-2. Vita, who's got at least a half a dozen players out of the Major Arena Soccer League. They're on their way to target score time with a chance to put away Wolves. Quite the headlines already to start the morning for this 4-day event. Cameron chipping away above the corner flag. Hasn't officially retired from the professional ranks, but he's mentioned maybe this being the last signature event he'll play in. Mentioned the training sessions with Shea. Those are by word of mouth, where kids will just show up at the field and they'll pick up some small-sided games. Knight up the wing. 19-year-old Sam Knowles lifting that back for the younger Ireland. Joshua Ireland, who scored 3 goals in 30 appearances in the U18 Premier League with Stoke City. Going to earn a corner. Try and tee up Cameron. Quarter of the way through the second half. Stoke lost that. Knight lobbed it over. Well, the really interesting thing, despite not being together all that long, these rosters, get a look at Jordan Stafford, who's on for Blade and Grass. Knight
And a player will
Taking
be
that out of the
removed from
backfield.
each team every 5
Looked infield for Chris Eagles. He played for 14 teams over a 16-year span. But both coaches were very high on the continuity. You got to remember, training sessions for these groups essentially happen in the last 24 to 48 hours.
Field 4 in a
Jorge Albiol even said, feels like we've been playing together for 6 months.
Diplomats and Bleeding Grass FC.
There's been plenty of good
We are
action
tied at 2
here in
apiece.
the opening matchup in Group B. Each team shadowing the other in terms of the goal scoring. DMV first in that first half, followed immediately by a Blade and Grass goal. 2 minutes separating the goals here in the second half between Shea and Stolk. Oakley, he's got one of the two. Justin Lee trying to keep possession. Oakley tries his luck from midfield.
At the end of the second half, we set a
Stafford.
target score by adding 1 to the leading team's goal count. The first team to reach that target score
Knowles.
wins. During target
Running out of
score
room on
time,
that
a player will be
byline.
removed from each team every
Defended by
5
Justin
minutes.
Lee, the former Penn State Nittany Lion. He's got 18 caps with Guam, along with his brother Alex. Look at that heel try by Cameron. Moas was right there. "10 minutes till target score time." Wolves, they've gotten 1 goal closer. The target score is 6 in the other match in Group B. The top 2 teams, like you would see in the World Cup group stages, will advance to the round of 16. That will begin tomorrow in the evening hours on Friday. All the teams will play 2 group stage matches here on Thursday. Action all day long from this debut of the TST. Here's Stock. Cracked it well. Westwood got up for it. Wenzalima. Niasi on the hold-up play. They're going to call a foul.
Checking in on field 5
There's Lee.
Newtown Pride FC and Cuban FC.
Wenzalita.
1-1 at halftime.
Tolika. Colo Colo. Where he really shined. Won the Golden Ball in Chile in 2013. The Team of the Year in 2014. Part of those magnificent national team runs in the Copa America and the Centenario. Hard to believe that was 7 to 8 years ago. Stafford away. Niasi. That big smile, he thought it was off of Pando. Miroslav Stock. Jose Fuenzalida. Upfield, Sam Knowles. For Blade and Grass. Carving it back. Earns a corner. Once again, a reminder, the game does not end on 40 minutes. We go to target score time. Stephen Ireland looking for that combination again with Niasi, who just missed. Swiping that header across the face of goal. 102 goals in his native Senegal, which put him on the radar about 15 years ago, and that allowed him to move over to Everton on loans at Hull City and Cardiff. Ireland and him, it's apparent, already finding a rhythm. Trying to play off each other. Stock, well, that was settled nicely, but it was scuffed by Oakley. It'd be easier to score than to miss, and the transition is going to have Justin Lee haul down Chris Eagles. And his card did come out, I believe. So that's the second yellow on the Diplomats. Individually, you'd normally be used to being credited 2 in the group stage. You get 3 here in the TST. Sit out.
2023 right here at Lakeland Soccer Park.
Once again, looking for Niasi in the air. 33-year-old. Leading Blade and Grass in shots.
7 wins away from winning $1 million.
Subsequent group stage games going on in the background. This is Group B action with 5 minutes remaining in the second half. Very intriguing start. These two closely matched teams with DMV and Blade and Grass. Cameron took it from Pando. Ireland runs roughshod through the middle. That got dislodged. And allows Stoke to drive it toward the low corner. And Westwood must come up clutch. He does. The 38-year-old keeper. Delivering late. The corner delivered in. Lee. Nobody wants that first touchback. Oakley can't save it on the byline. Jeff Cameron. Stephen Ireland. Right down the boulevard. Niasi dispossessed. In transition. Tic-tac-toe and over. Boy, that was pretty, but Silvas will be haunted by it. Played in the lower divisions of Spain and out of the Toluca Academy.
In the 36th minute.
A glorious look with 4 minutes remaining. And trying to put DMV ahead. He's got another opportunity. The rebound back, and Westwood repels him twice. Kieran Westwood, 3-time Team of the Year performer in England. Saving grace here late for Blade and Grass. Hopper hopped onto that one. Flipping it right at Moas. Well, and that's the crucial part of this game. Taking the lead into target score time. That minimizes what you need to close out the affair. The fulcrum being turned in each direction right now. Inside of 3 minutes remaining. Ireland down for Westwood. Finding the Aussie. It's a good piece of defending by Amardo Oakley.
What do you want me to do? I'm not yelling to you. I'm yelling frustration.
Crowd effects mic is working. A laugh for the Aussie. His team led briefly here in the second half. But Stoke followed it up with the tying goal. That's left back and hit long. Who will keep pace with Vieta FC?
I need you guys to cheer extra loud.
Surprising
With all your
Wolves.
arms.
6-3 winner, the other matchup in Group B. Shea tried to rope that home.
Wolves will be playing Lady Brass FC. Stadium Field 1 at 5 p.m.
Silvas into the clutter.
Yetta FC
Ryan Hopper.
Diplomats at 6 p.m. on Field 5
Yassi,
in
his
Session 2.
size and strength, he's an easy target for a lot of fouls. Fati. German defender gave it away on the pass. Silvas. Oakley. And that'll be awarded to Blade and Grass. Remember, there's no throw on the resumption of play here in the TST. Final 30 seconds. Target score time set up to be a sudden death situation. The way it's shaping up. Cameron. Here's Niasi, who's got a look. Scuffed it wide. You can have injury time, of course, at the referee's discretion, but there was none. So, while irrelevant because it didn't go in, it would have been interesting to see if it did, would it have held up. 2-2, and to target score time we go. And while brief in the early beginnings of the TST, one of the more compelling games of the morning. So, the first 1-3 is your winner with this matchup tied at 2. And every 5 minutes without a goal, a player is removed from each team, dwindling down to open up the field of play to promote a quicker goal being scored. Still very overcast with a nice breeze in Cary. Conditions optimal. The conversations intense. Jorge Alvial, who knows both sides of this equation very well. He helped bring Breck Shea to Stoke. 9 years at Chelsea and then 3 at Manchester United. Brought the great Guillermo Berroscoloto to Columbus. And the crew captured their very first title in 2007. In the global arena of finding great players. To start playing with the Washington Stars back at the end of the 1980s. And he said, we've got some stars on this Diplomat team. He felt his group even yesterday in the training session had been playing together for 6 months. The the way they were swinging it around. Next goal wins. The target score is 3. Vita with the upset of Wolves. Breck Shea had thoughts right off the kickoff on a well-designed play with the Aussie, but hit it high. It'll look like an upset on paper, but Vita, knowing their continuity and the success they've had, won't bat an eye one bit. They expected to win and did.
Wins the match.
Ireland. Niasi for Hopper. It's Stephen Ireland. Back for Cameron. What a paw! Cameron's got the rebound. Moas did his best, but Jeff Cameron caps off a blade and grass victory, taking their opener against the DMV Diplomats here in Group B. The former Stoke City captain saves his best for last. Westwood immense late in the second half. A back and forth, well contested affair. And we're off and running in a fantastic way in the inaugural TST, the soccer tournament here in Cary, North Carolina. And the longtime U.S. international and Premier League veteran, championship veteran, Jeff